All right, people hate their jobs. Let's talk about it.
I hate my job. I am literally crying at my desk 3 to 4 days out of the week. I feel guilty to speak about the fact that it's a great job, but no matter how good of a job it is not my purpose. It's not. And if you are a purpose driven person with dreams and there's something that you want to do with your life, it does not matter where you sit if you know for sure that seat does not belong to you. And I am tired of crying at this desk. I'm tired of feeling anxiety. I'm tired of feeling like I'm so unhappy. And I was talking to my therapist the other day, and she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I'm just like, I want to teach women how to love themselves more. I want to show up for other moms and other women. I want to do monthly meetups. I want to do events. I want to travel. I want to, you know, have this huge community that is growing, that's all about women showing up for themselves, and all the things. And she was like, "So why don't you create a company?" And I promise you, I started crying because I have a company. It's called Her Glow. And I've done the brunches and I've done the meetups, but Her Glow is not taking care of my bills. You know what I'm saying? And it can. I got to figure out what amount of money is going to help me leave my full-time job. And I'm tired of allowing fear to keep me stuck. I am deciding in this moment that I am going to be very shameless about plugging my dreams and my purpose and sharing it. And I am going to truly buy myself out of this misery. I owe that to myself. I owe it to the woman that I used to be. I owe it to the woman that I'm becoming. And I'm proud of myself already. And if you can relate to what I'm talking about, if you're at a job and you feel like, damn, I am not really living in my purpose, I'm hoping this is a sign for you to do what you know you're called to do, what God has placed on your heart. Because I'm telling you, when you get to the end of your life, you are going to have so much regret. You're going to feel like, damn, it was so many things I needed to do and I didn't do them. So hopefully this is your sign to keep going, because I am.
I mean, that's interesting. She touched on a lot of good points, right? She mentioned that she already had a business. She's already started it. It's called Her Glow. She's doing the brunches. She's doing the things she feels is necessary to get her away from the everyday job that she's doing right now, right? All the questions that I have are surrounding what are your daily habits like, right? Because she mentioned also what amount of money is it going to take for her to be able to step away from her everyday job and support herself, right? Support her lifestyle, pay her bills, etc. Her daily habits, to me, right? This is my opinion, should include budgeting, saving every penny that you want to go towards that business, right? Because it's one thing to be like, okay, she mentioned it was a good job. So if it's a good job, I'm assuming it pays well, because a lot of people base the job quality off a lot of times how much it pays, and also work-life balance, et cetera, right? But how much it pays is a big thing. So I'm assuming she gets paid okay, at least decent, enough to pay her bills, obviously. So how much of that are you putting back into yourself and not consuming a lot, but actually budgeting, saving, down to almost, I don't want to say every penny, but almost every penny to dollar, right? To be able to build yourself a fund, right? To, okay, how do I grow this business and scale it to the point where it can pay her bills, which is what she's ultimately aiming for. Like she said, she wants to travel, do this, do that, X, Y, and Z, right? So you have to be able to put yourself in a position to be able to do that. Besides habits, right? I want to touch on maybe work ethic, right? Because again, I don't know her business. I don't know what she's doing with it. I don't know what she's doing in her everyday day-to-day job, right? What I've realized is if you don't have the work ethic and the actual drive and motivation to day in, day out, putting extra time, right? Because it's not just about having a business, right? How much are you doing outside of your day-to-day job, right? When you get home, how late are you staying up? X, Y, Z. What are the hours you're putting in on the weekends? X, Y, Z. Because that business that you want to start to be able to scale to eventually pay your bills is only going to go as far as you take it right now, right? Because again, you're lacking the funding right now. Maybe you're lacking the reach that you want to get to, the audience, X, Y, Z. once you get there to the point where, okay, I have the audience, I have the capabilities now to scale X, Y, Z, you'll realize, okay, now I'm starting to receive some dividends from what I'm actually trying to get out of this business, right? I'm actually getting to maybe now travel, actually getting to do a few more brunches, getting to do a few more of this, a few more of that, do a few pop up here, do a few pop ups there, X, Y, Z, whatever it is, right? So for me, it's habits and work ethic, right? If she can master those two things and get those two things, again, maybe she has those things, but in my opinion, maybe she needs to ramp it up a little bit more. But anyways, let's get back into it.
I'm one of those people where I don't care how broke I am. I will never want extra hours at a job. I will never cover for anyone. I really want to work as least as possible. Whenever bosses say, do you want extra hours, or like, do you want to work these days? Absolutely not. And I hate when they act like they're gifting it to me. Like, would you like more hours? That is like throw up to me. Absolutely. Like, I really would love less hours. I would rather be extremely broke with free time than rich and working all the time. I really hate working, hate. I think I'd be better off as like a farmer, or honestly like a landscaper. I think that I like that better because it's actual work.
She said, I'm pretty sure she was being sarcastic or joking, or hopefully she was at least, because if you're talking about landscaping, X, Y, Z, because it's actual work and you hate working, those two things don't really align, right? You are in a society to where people have gravitated towards, they don't like to work, right? They hate working, they hate their job, they hate what they're doing, X, Y, Z. Now, I feel like people hating their job is equivalating to people hating the work, right? I feel as if maybe jobs were paying more, maybe there was more work-life balance, there were less expectations to go above and beyond to be seen as good at your job, rather than, okay, this is my job requirements, this is what my job says I'm needing to do day in and day out. I accomplished that, right? And then boom, I'm a good worker, right? But 9 times out of 10, a lot of jobs see you as, okay, that excellent worker, someone who can be promoted X, Y, Z. If you're going above and beyond, working the extra hours, like she mentioned, she doesn't want to do, right? Doing the extra things, a little knickknacks, like they feel like they're doing you a favor, like she mentioned. So maybe, again, I don't know her job currently, but if more jobs were necessarily out here, I guess what people either envisioned in their mind or thought they would be, maybe coming out of college, high school, trade school, whatever it is, then more people would be excited to actually work, right? And then I also feel like we've become such a, what's the right word? I don't want to say capitalist, right? Because we've already been a capitalist society. We already knew that, right? But we're in such a society now where if you don't have X, Y, and Z, right, you don't have this thing, that thing. And a lot of people with social media now just compare themselves to the next person, the next this, the next that, right? And they see all these different things that they think people have, which a lot of people actually don't have. They're either overexerting themselves, not budgeting, mismanagement, somebody gave it to them, whatever the case scenario is. But a lot of people out here are living a facade. So then in turn, when people see that facade, they don't know it's a facade, but they want that facade, and then start doubting themselves and questioning, like, what am I doing wrong? Which then in turn creates these mindsets of, I hate the work, because what am I really getting out of it? I'm not getting the lifestyle. I'm not getting the car. I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that, whatever it is. So for me, we just have to shift our mindsets to, okay, this is my job. Where is it ultimately going to get me right now to where I want to get in the future? Again, I think I've mentioned this before in previous videos. I talk about this. Everyone at some point, I think, is going to have to sacrifice for something, right? You're going to have to sacrifice time, energy, money, resources, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, right, that you are seeking, then go hard at that temporarily. And then you'll realize, okay, I'm glad I went hard for that. Because if you just drag it out, right, an extra year, 2, 3, 4 years, like some people stay in these positions so long because they're just dragging it out because it's so dreadful to them. Just put your head down, sacrifice for that 1 or 2 years temporarily, that if you just do that, you'll get to where you want to go. Grind, sacrifice, and just switch your mindset. Let's get back to it.
There's nothing worse than a service worker who's miserable and hates their job. You ever shown up to a fast food place and you get to the cashier and they're like, "What do you want?" Like I'm causing you some massive inconvenience by making you do your job. If you're not a people person, if you have a low social battery, don't work at a job where you talk to people all day long. And I know what the comments are going to say. Oh, these people don't get paid enough to deal with the average human all day long. No kidding. I wouldn't want to make minimum wage to talk to the average human all day either, because 99% of the public are NPCs, and I would get impatient and pissed off as well. Here's a news flash. Nobody's making you work this fast food job. You're not being held hostage. So if you're going to show up every single day with a shitty attitude and give people attitude when they order from you and tell you to do your job, then quit your job and find a new one. Go be an electrician. Go be a plumber. Work at the airport. Do something where you don't have to speak to people all day, because if you're not a personable, happy person who likes talking to other people, you probably shouldn't work in a job where your main responsibility is talking to people and being hospitable. If you're a miserable person who doesn't like to talk, don't work at a job where you talk to people all day.
Oh, bro is definitely preaching to the choir, because I'm not going to lie. The other day, I kind of had a bad customer service interaction, right? All I did was call about a bill because the residence I stay at, my water bill was just skyrocketed, right? So I called the water people and they were like, "Oh, you probably have a leak, right?" And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let me get that checked out." Got it checked out, X, Y, Z, right? I was like, maybe can we escalate it a little bit? Maybe to get the issue fixed, have someone come look at the property, X, Y, Z. And then the lady, when I just started asking like general questions like, can we escalate it? Is that an option? All these different things, she started to get combative. I'm like, I'm just asking you general questions. I'm not doing this to be like a hard resident or anything like that, right? I'm more so doing it because every day that we're going and waiting, my water bill is just running up because there's a leak, you know? And I'm like, well, how can I save myself as much money as possible? Because if you don't send somebody out here immediately, it's like, well, 4 or 5 days from now, no telling how much it could have went up. I'm already $100+ over what I'm usually paying right now. So every moment counts, right? But he does have a point to the customer service industry. Now I feel as if maybe it's because people hate their jobs, you know, maybe people are tired or whatever it is, but the attitudes that some people come into, especially the places that you would think aren't supposed to be that way, right? There's plenty of chain restaurants and notable names out there. You can go to your local coffee shops, you know, maybe a Starbucks, Chipotle, X, Y, Z, that where you can get bad service and you may not even go to that specific location no more, just for the simple fact that, okay, I know I'm gonna get bad service. Not even because the food is bad or anything like that. It's more so, I just don't want to deal with that attitude. If I'm paying my hard-earned money for it, you should be obliged, you know, to kind of serve me in a way. Some of the good service out here, it makes you appreciate it because that is something that the company obviously values. They put an emphasis on whatever the case scenario may be, right? If you don't want to work that job, don't work it. No one's forcing you to be there, right? If you don't want to come in with at least a minimally positive attitude to where someone can greet you and they're not greeted with a nah, okay, what? And then just so much passive energy. It's like, that's not welcoming at all. And on top of that, like, why would you want to live in that environment day to day, you know, go to work in that environment if it puts you in that mood, puts you in that mindset? Like, you should protect your own peace to be able to get out of that, you know, and do your own thing or find a new job, whatever it is, right? So if you're a customer service or anything like that, man, just try to put your best foot forward, because you honestly never know what somebody is going through, right? You have a bad attitude and then someone else comes in with either terrible news they just got, even worse attitude with you, whatever it is, and then it becomes just a big problem. That's how arguments start, fights start, X, Y, and Z, because you wouldn't even realize, okay, that natural energy that you gave off mixed with this person's either situation that just happened or natural energy that they gave off is the reason why there's conflict, right? Find what works for you, right? Find what makes you happy. Find what makes you passionate and makes you want to walk into the door every day. And yeah. Anyways, if you stuck with me this long, man, I appreciate it. I thank y'all. You know, the support has been crazy the last few days. You know, I got some videos going crazy right now. But yeah, if you haven't already and you like the video, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe as well. You know, that of course help the algorithm, help grow this channel. Again, I'm gonna continuously say it. I want to grow and build a community here, right? I want to build a platform where people want to come watch me because they want to hear what I have to say, hear my views, hear my opinions, or they want to sometimes give their own views and opinions, right? So with that being said, if you have anything that you want me to talk about or discuss, just leave it in the comment section. Or if you have anything to combat maybe what I said in this video, right? Just leave that in the comment section as well, man. Again, thank y'all. I appreciate it, and I'm out.